I was asked by people if Ulink NT can program the BIOS for the motherboard, and most of the recent BIOS has the SPI flash, so it's obvious can be programmed by the Ulink NT. And in this video, I have two motherboards. One is 1 meg BIOS, and the other board has dual BIOS, which each BIOS has 4 megabytes. So first, we can either use existing XML or you can create a new XML for the BIOS you want. So I want to have 790GX, and here I have the ASUS BIOS 1 meg, which is the same. So we can take a look at the configuration, and it has, so we can create a folder called 790GX. Now for the connector, some motherboard has the JSPI1, which is MSI board. You can connect to this board, but I'm going to show you, if you only have this clip, can you use the Ulink NT directly connect to it? And the answer is yes. I have measured the current. It's safe to use the 3.3 volt direct from the Ulink. So all you need to do is take off this plastic and 6 wires. So power, ground, CS, clock, and the TDI and DI and DO. I use a plastic tape to protect each of them. So now I can connect them. So let's say power is the 8 pin, and the ground is pin 4. The CS is, let's check the datasheet here. So this is datasheet, and CS pin 1. So let's go, and DO, which is the orange here, go DO. And then we can give the CS, then the clock, and the last one is TI. So let me focus on it. You can see this one has pins connected, and there's 2 pins, WP and hold pins are left open. To connect the chip, and by the way, these cheap ones are not good quality, so new clip is quite easy to use. After use it for a while, they tend to bend here and it's difficult, but this is quite new and I find it's usable. So just to connect like so, take it over. And you can connect this USB. Let's go to the software. And we can do a backup first. And you can see very fast. And these are the data. So we can save it, call backup. Now, if you have the BIOS download from the website, you can use that one too. So let me erase it. And make sure it is erased. It is. And now we can program it. And just click. can verify it. So you can see to use Ulink NT to program this BIOS for 1 meg, it almost takes nothing like 3 seconds to program. Let's switch to another motherboard which has 2 4 megabyte of flash. This is another motherboard. It's called Dual BIOS. It had 2 BIOS chip here, and one called M_BIOS and the other one is B_BIOS. The size is identical. I think the purpose of Dual BIOS is to have a backup in case of you have virus, then you can use the one to replace the other. But in this video, I'm going to show you how we can program the 4 megabyte. First, let's program the master BIOS. So make the connection first. And then we can connect the USB and we can detect. We can, but because the size is different, the current configuration only has the 1 meg. So we can choose the SPI flash, which is 32, and this is 4 meg. So we can select OK, and we can open the folder for this called, this is the GA78LMT, GA78LMT. And we select it and look at the configuration, and it has the SPI flash. The size is 4 meg. We can detect, and let's read the backup. This is all the BIOS, and we can save here, call M_BIOS. Now let's erase it. Let's verify if they are erased. Of course, so let's put it back. Yeah, it only takes 6 seconds to program the 4 meg, and let's verify if this program is fine. Yeah, it is. So now let's move on to the second BIOS. So just unplug it and connect it. Let's detect. Yeah. So now we need to read again. And save as B_BIOS. And let's try to erase it. Okay, make sure it's erased. Yeah, it's erased. Now let the backup of BIOS and program it. And verify it. Yeah, everything's fine. So you can see Ulink NT is very efficient tool to program the BIOS